Okay, you've heard of hashtag no filter? This is hashtag yes filter. We're going to create a sort of abstract Photoshop project using your head. So start off with a picture of yourself, and honestly, like a crazy picture of your face with your hands by your head, way more exciting. I'm just going to use this mugshot from school. You're going to open up your layers panel, and the first step is to open up your photograph. If you wish to crop it, and then we're going to unlock this background layer. I'm still going to name it background just so I remember that's what the layer is. Then lower the opacity on this layer, because as we divide this into pieces, we want to be able to see what's left, okay, what we still need to divide. All right, next grab your selection tool, and you could do this in like a bunch of rectangles, just make a bunch of rectangle selections, but I'm going to use a lasso. So here I go. I'm going to grab my first selection. So this is the first piece that you want to make it filtered a certain way. There's that piece. While on your background layer, press Control J. Okay, so I'm just going to call this top left. Be sure you name your layers and then move the opacity back to 100% when you're done with that piece. Okay, then back to the background layer and then the next piece. And I will say, to make this look cool, be sure you divide your face into multiple pieces. So like I'm going to have this eye on this next one. Okay. I know it's actually my right eye, but when you're looking at it, it's the one on the left, so I'm going to name it left eye. Okay, and then again, take another part. So maybe I'll do this part. Remember, the top parts are going to be in front, so I don't have to be very specific on these, but I do have to always remember to come back to the background layer, and then this is going to be the right side eye, and turn it up. And you're going to repeat this process until you have them all done. I'm going to go ahead and I missed a piece, so Control D, we'll try that one more time and get kind of this part, maybe only half my mouth just for fun. Click back on background, Control J, part of mouth, whatever. Okay, I'm going to pause and continue this until I have all of my pieces. Okay, I now have it all divided out, and if you notice, there are a few little spots showing through. No big deal. I could go through and add those, but instead what I'm going to do, this is kind of my little extra thing, is if you miss spots, take your background layer and go ahead and convert it to a smart object. Well, before you convert it, turn the opacity to 100. Convert it to a smart object and then just throw a blur on it. So those parts will just be blurry. So I'm just going to go to regular blur, motion blur, and we'll just do that. I like to do that to the background so that if any parts show through, they kind of look a little bit weird as well. Okay, so now we go through each one of these layers and we're going to convert each one to a smart object. And obviously you can do this before you get started on all of this if you want to, or as you're renaming them all. Either way, it doesn't matter. Again, I'm not going to do all of these during this tutorial. I'm going to do a few, pause it, and then let you see how this one turns out here at the end. But you're going to convert them all to smart objects, and then you're going to go and apply filters. And some filters will preview, some filters will not preview. So just bear in mind as you get ready to do these filters, you know, some of them you're going to know and some of them you're not. Now I like to start with the eyeballs and stuff, and so you can see the blurry behind it. I like to start with the facial features first, and then you can kind of mess with the others. So when they're smart objects, you can go to the filter menu. The ones I like to use most are filter gallery, which is going to be your artistic things. So these do preview in this little pane over here, which is kind of nice. So you can decide like what kind of a look are you looking for. You can mess with the settings, of course, on all these. So I'm going to go with this, whatever I've got going on here, hit OK, and then that little chunk will be like that. Then I'm going to go to my right eye, and I'm going to go in here and maybe choose a different type of an option here for this. So we want them to be, you know, a little different and somewhat abstract. So let them be, don't let them look too realistic, you know. Some other ones that I like, other than filter gallery, are distort. And distort, you can do some weird things too. Zigzag, spherize, twirl. So these are a little more complicated. So I've got a twirl on here, and you can twirl it like a lot if you want. And remember, my background's going to show through here, so the blurry background is showing behind. So you could do those. Now those aren't near as abstract if you don't, you know, do a lot to them. Pixelate's another good one. You've got all kinds of different pixelate options. I like mezzotint. This one you can't quite see. I don't know what part I'm clicked on. There you go. You can set it to dots and lines and all kinds of different stuff here. So there we go. There's that one. And then just continue on. Here's my right mouth face. So I'm going to go through and I'll go in here and maybe choose this crystallized, because that's going to put little boxes on there. And you can decide how big or small you want your little boxes to be, and so forth. Anyway, repeat the process. I'm going to pause and get mine finished and then join you back. All right, here is my finished one with all of my filters on all of my layers. Now the next part is, that's just kind of a fun part, is to go through and transform some of the pieces. You don't have to transform everything, but transforming some of the pieces is kind of fun. Oh, I missed a spot. Let me throw another filter gallery on one of these. Maybe we'll do an ocean ripple. There we go. All right, so once you have them all in there, at this point you are ready to transform. So I'm going to take my left eye. Now to transform, you press Control-T as always, but it's going to yell at you because it tells you smart filters are turned off while you transform. So just say okay, and then you can start transforming. So, you know, pull from the left top, rotate it around some if you want, right click if you wish, and you can do skew, or you can like skew it. You know, whatever you want to do, you want to have fun with it. And the cool thing is it's going to have filter over top of it, so it won't matter that it looks weird. All right, so hit okay, and there we go. Go to my right eye. I'm going to do the same thing, Control-T. Hit okay, there it is. We can see what's going on. I'm going to make this eyeball just super big in there. And again, you can reposition your stuff as well. Rotate it around or whatever. Just remember that certain things are in front of certain things. Also, right click and warp. We'll put a grid over top, and you can like grab a hold of things that way. All right, there we go. There, see, I'm like so Picasso right now. And then you don't have to do it to everything. You know, just pick like certain parts. Some of these weird ones like that I have, like that bottom left chunk here. This mezzotint looks kind of weird. So maybe that one would be one that I would want to do some filtering too. Although, honestly, that one's got lines on it, so I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, but we'll see. No, not really. So anyway, so you go through and you just add some transformations in some certain places. Again, it doesn't have to be everywhere. Now I've kind of completely covered up this part of my mouth here, so I might want to take that layer and just grab my move tool and move it out a little bit. So we got some, you know, some of this in here. Remembering that, you know, whatever it's next to, you know, I need to think about, oops, that. Thought I picked on skew there, but I guess I did not. There we go. All right, and again, if you've got your background showing as a blur behind everything, it should look okay. I really want to have some of my mouth showing there. All right, so I'm happy with this. It's a bit of a mess, but it's fine, right? That's what we're going for, something sort of abstract. The final step, we want to turn it all into one color because then it just looks a little bit better in one hue. So you're going to go to your very top layer, click on the very top layer, click on the little moon button, the Add a New Adjustment Layer button, and then a hue saturation check mark, colorize over here on your hue saturation, and then there you go. You can adjust those things there. You've got lightness and darkness and all that good stuff there. Saturation, and then what color you want to go with. I kind of like purples and blues. I'm going to go over here. Saturation, remember, going to decrease the amount of the color. Gets closer to gray the more you go down. So there you go. I love it. I just absolutely love it. So there you go. A very simple, fun little project. Hashtag #YesFilter. When you're done, of course, export this out so you've got a nice JPEG version to upload or share.